here we go with this week, and yeah, it's gonna be like my last proper week this year, and yeah. 1 second. Just trying to print off my talk for tomorrow. So yeah. So there, and might need to go and put more paper in the printer. No, it's like last time I'm probably going to be getting like, I have to make like a ton of notes and then I have to print them all off. So yeah, unless it's from a couple of weeks ago where I wasn't able to actually finish the notes as we just got back off like PPD week. Now I was essentially sleeping for a week, about a week and a bit, considering we're not generally not in on Friday, and yeah. This is probably where a lot of people turn off. It's like, please turn off my videos and can I just say, let me know what I can improve on in the comments down below. If you do actually see this. So I can make it more interesting for you and for everyone else. As I'm open to all suggestions. Don't know where I am, don't know where I am. We're on page 1 now. Yeah, we're all done. And turn the printer off. And yeah, I'll be seeing you all tomorrow. This is probably where we're going to say night for now, and I'll see you all tomorrow. So bye for now and night. You know, it's probably not night when you get it.
It's Jack Ryan, Jordan, me, Ed, Jack.
It's not lazy, it's resting before your time. You have to keep outside the box sometimes.
Don't press the button on that door again. That's really simple. Right, they're gone. No, it opens up, but you can tap on it. Here we go, boys. Game faces on.
Yeah, my shout. Okay.
it's now the end of Monday. Part I had to think about it was slightly disturbing. But yeah, it's the end of Monday and it's been partially successful. I have now finished my contract workshops. I've finished public law lectures, and but I've got one more public law workshop still, one more tort law workshop, and yeah, I have a feeling I've got one more law and society lecture, and yeah. Just need to kind of go through things and make sure everything's okay. And yeah. So like we had a presentation, didn't say anything. Presentation in the contract workshop this morning. Didn't say anything and found out how annoying I am to find on like social media and all that. So yeah. And in the end, like the one that was trying to find me on Facebook, I had to find her on Facebook. And I was able to find her on Facebook. Thankfully. And yeah. So like we then went to the contract lecture, and there's like the one that everyone, the majority of us find like really, oopsie daisy. The one that the majority of us finding like really dull and all that. So yeah. Yay. So like thank God I've actually survived it. Then I had a revision lecture in public law as well as both contract and public law lectures today. Were both revision lectures. And then yeah, had taught and there was like, initially there was kind of 5 of us, but one of us was like, gotta go to the toilet, and so I out my car park and then didn't come back, only because we had a mock today. So yeah. So like, still haven't done the mock today. It's like as we kind of overran with what we were supposed to be doing before the mock, and he said kind of like, do it at home and time yourself. So like now that we have it, we kind of have to do it now, as we all kind of have a PPD appointment with him on Thursday. So yeah, I'm gonna say bye for now, and yeah, I'll see you some more tomorrow.
What you like.
Right next to the Tesco place. Then we've got Costa, Creams.
Beauty, come out the
Did you say
hotel.
Costa Creams?
Where you got Costa and then Creams next to it.
Creams is the hospital, isn't it?
What was that? Oh really? What, proper ice cream?
Yeah. Just opened in the Midway.
Go past the Piccadilly Tavern. Communicate School of English. That was even the chef. That's the way it's got better.
Welcome on board Virgin Trains. We'll be travelling to Manchester Piccadilly.
Creams is just desserts. Look out your window now. Right.
Happens museum.
Definitely stop at that happens here.
It's the plaza.
Stop looking now, it's just
Now I'm looking at him going,
Well, that was the big. Big rock. Probably I'm finding my iPhone is chewing through battery. Now, it's starting to get towards the 2 year. Yeah. Didn't get used to. Well, that bad. 77%. This morning.
To Liverpool. Liverpool, yeah. Goes Liverpool, Lime Street.
Timetables for the 32 weeks in advance, so please check National Rail or your train service provider for further details.
One more time.
You know that our new tutor, Rosie, is delivering our workshops as well. That's weird that he's
They're giving vision materials out downstairs. So if you wanted there's like
Right, can I just leave these in? Leave these going.
Mommy watching you.
It's very boring.
very progressive.
I'm going to very busy. Oh, but I hate it. Some men don't know how to help. I think they do because I know it's rare. Yeah. Sorry.
Ah, we're getting fired on it.
You're lucky I could aim in the building.
So I still don't understand how everyone's.
Just gonna mark it and give it to you.
I'll just edit it. Are we going anywhere? Where are we going now?
Start. Are you going to be able to print it off?
Huh?
Need to print it off.
Yeah, I can do it before past it.
Do you know, if you don't do it today, she'll tell you to come to a different workshop. She'll basically say, get out, come to a different workshop. She'll do that.
I don't end up getting diseases.
We said that. Is it dirty?
No, you are, Grace.
Don't do it.
Highly insulting to my dad. I mean, it's accurate.
Is it all pilots?
Yeah, but they've all got we on the floor. On
No,
the seats.
is it what we're talking about? Is it all in the
Yeah, inside. No, only 2 sets.
Oh, great. I know I would have
Depends
to
how desperate you are, I suppose. You should please sit down when you go to the toilet. You can't breathe.
gentlemen, warm welcome to passengers who've joined the service here at Manchester Piccadilly. Welcome on board the 1843 East Midlands train service to Norwich. Calling at Stockport, Sheffield, Chesterfield, Alfreton, Nottingham, Grantham, Peterborough, Ely, Thetford, Attleborough, Windham and Norwich. For safety and security, please do keep a close eye on all personal belongings during your journey this evening. All luggage should be safely stowed within the luggage areas provided. Please do not block any doorways, vestibules or the main aisle through the train with luggage. Safety information posters can be found adjacent to all exit doors, and these highlight our safety and emergency procedures. East Midlands trains operate a strict no smoking policy. Smoking or vaping is not allowed on board any of our trains, as well as at any station platforms. Should you see anything suspicious, please report it to a member of staff or the British Transport Police. You can text the British Transport.
This is now in a Tuesday, and yeah. It's been something. So I kind of got going. Not sure if I managed it yesterday, but yesterday we were kind of giving part 2 of the mock. And I managed to be able to do that today and then hand it in. And then yeah. And then I had a lecture and then made some notes and taught, and now I really hate taught and I want to see it again in my life. So yeah. The joys. Yeah. Gonna keep it short as I'm just a tad drained and I haven't done any for today, so yeah. I'm gonna say bye for now and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll keep it short considering I'm literally about to bed and I'm a big fan of getting at least 8 hours sleep a night. So yeah. I was able to do a plan for question 2 for the public law exam, and yeah, although I did a lot of it in a hospital, I'm not ill, but it was kind of like a couple of tests for a family member, so yeah. I'll say bye for now, and yeah, I'll see you all soon. So yeah, bye.
I'm on the cricket runner. Going to a PPD meeting here. It's okay.
So yeah, jobs are good, and I've been sat here on the third floor for about an hour already. So I haven't got way out well with it. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll talk to more tonight.
Well, like I said, if I do my level 1 for both of them, right, I have to do my level 2 security thing. What? No. No. Where am I going to put it? No, it's not the Middle East. It's not like the Western Texas or something.
Next station, stop.
It's now the end of Thursday, and that PPD meeting I mentioned earlier went okay. Lasted 20 minutes. As we're going about, I feel like, support I get at uni. So yeah. It's all in place, and everyone that needs to know at the moment knows. And yeah. I had my last lecture in talk and my last public law workshop, and I'm now completely done with public law, and now all I have is a contract workshop on, a contract lecture on Monday, and a Fair for Fair talk workshop on Monday as well, where I'm going to be receiving the results for the mock I did on Tuesday, that I handed in on Tuesday, didn't hand it in on Tuesday, and then yeah, I have a mock and then everything's all done. So yeah, I'm already looking back on this year and all, so I kind of miss everything already. So yeah. it's like, I think Hazel's kind of making a point of it as well in our public law workshop. It's going last public law workshop and like last teaching thingy for public law. So yeah, it's like I love Hazel. She goes through things, making sure everyone understands and all. So yeah. And it's like my PPD tutors are like, sorry if I'm sniffling. And I say he's ill. Not a new excuse on me. And yeah. So yeah. As I've had friends that have been saying that they've been ill like all year long. So yeah. I'm gonna say end of Thursday and I'll see you all tomorrow. So yeah, where I'll be going through the weekend, what I've taught this weekend, yeah. Next week might be my final week of this series for now. So yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow, and yeah, things might be have a bit more clarity tomorrow over tonight. I just want to go to bed. So yeah, bye. Here we go with the last clip for this video this week. So yeah, this is the last time I'm probably going to do something like this, as I'm about to go through my work for the week, which is something I'm not really going to be able to do even though I'm in university next week. So yeah, considering Law and Society's done, like tour's essentially done, I've just got like a workshop on Monday. Public's done, and then contractor just have a lecture on Monday as well. So yeah, doing this for the last time and till next year. I'm not really going to go over the workshop for contracts, as we're just kind of doing presentations and all. So yeah, here we go with the lecture. As we were going over the revision, I actually had like 2.5 sheets of A5 paper worth of notes, and you can probably see this. Pink ink. Now it's like in the exam, everything I say is going to be relevant to more relevant to MMU students, considering I am an MMU student. So yeah, the contract exam will be 2 questions out of the 6, and it's like 1 question is on 1 topic, and you have 2 hours to answer those 2 questions, and you have to purely keep it in the context of what the questions actually saying. Just going to do like 1 bit of it, as I think I've done a lot of it before. So yeah, you have to refer back to the question every so often, and the bit I find really great but weird at the same time is that you can take an A4 lever arch file with printouts of the scans of the textbook, but not the textbook itself. Next week we had Catherine Higgins again, and yeah, it's like surprisingly turned off. It's probably not surprising because she just goes on and on and on a little bit. But yeah, if I manage to get 2.5 pages or 2.5 sheets of notes saying, She's probably done something this time to keep me engaged a little longer. And then she said revise for a minimum of 4 topics in case you don't like the answer. Like the question, not the answer, the question that you revise for. So like, so you have like a backup for a question that you possibly could like. So yeah. And you have to do everything accurately and in chronological order. As she said that there was 5 of the questions were Iraq and 1 essay. And that's like I do know the essay. The agreement, promissory estoppel and part payment, exemption clauses, misrepresentation and frustration are all problem questions, while breach and remedies is as an essay question, courtesy of the PowerPoint handout she gave. It may be pretty blank other than the thingy, it's a bit like only because I prefer writing in a notebook sometimes as a kind of point in a way I understand it, in a way that I can kind of revise from. Just gonna go over like briefly what everything is. Now it's like with agreement, it's like generally break down into kind of like talk about offering and acceptance. And then like unilateral objectivity and agreement, unilateral contracts, like what is an offer and who can the offer be made to, and how it differs from like invitations to treats and advertisements, and auctions, and like how the offer can be terminated and how you can revoke the offer, like whether it's like unilateral or bilateral offer. Like unilateral where one party makes a promise to everyone, while bilateral is between 2 parties. But like, before going on to like acceptance, like defining what acceptance is in like a communication or that acceptance. Before going on to consideration. Now you like go into what makes an agreement binding, as it has to be offer, acceptance, intention of legal relations and consideration. So like you kind of define what consideration is. Like if there's any like approaches you can do. And like who makes the kind of like shows the consideration that they've considered the offer in front of him, and then kind of explain the difference between executed and executory consideration. Executory consideration being exchange of promises to be performed in the future, and executed consideration promises in stage of an act that could possibly have already happened. And then you might go on to say consideration must be sufficient but need not be adequate. Now and then say consideration must be provided in exchange for the promise, and then go on to like quantification. A subsequent promise to pay can be binding where it is merely late quantification of an earlier implied in brackets understanding of that payment would be made. The courts are more willing to find there was an implied promise to pay in commercial agreements. and then how it can be a variation to a contract. Consideration must be provided to vary a contract, therefore cannot vary a contract without further consideration of one party has fully performed. Now going on to part payment of a debt, common law and equity under promissory estoppel, which is another one of the questions. And it's like you'd kind of explain what part payment of a debt that common law is. Like if there's any rules behind it. And if there's like any additional considerations given, what would amount to a consideration. Like early payment, payment of at a different location, payment in kind, payment by a third party. And what that part payment would provide. Like the practical benefits that it would provide. Part payment in equity. I kind of explain what part payment of a debt in equity would be before going on to promissory estoppel. Equity may still enforce a promise to vary your rights under a contract where there is no consideration through operation of promissory estoppel. I need to explain like relevant cases like London Central Property Trust and High Trees, 1947. As next week, and then you kind of go on to explain the different elements of promissory estoppel, like the clear and unequivocal, like 11 at 9. Doing this for everyone's benefit. Clear and unequivocal promise. There must be a promise. Then the promisee must have acted in reliance of the promise. It must be inequitable to allow the promiser to go back on the promise. The doctrine cannot found a course of action. And then like you go on to explain the effects of promissory estoppel. As it kind of mentioned, that it would be generally suspensory in nature. Nice work, and then you kind of go on to like conclude. And yeah, got on us for having two handouts here, and yeah. The reason why this one's a bit more beat up than the other one is slightly thinner, considering it's like only 2 sheets of paper stapled together. This one's on frustration, not essay questions, but like you kind of say what frustration is in law, and like how it is defined, like we're using case law or common law, and why. And that's like before I kind of say why we have the doctrine of frustration, and how to kind of how cases like reflect it. Before you go on to say like why frustration is a thing, like impossibility. Like impossibility, then there's impossibility, temporary unavailability, and it's like it's impossibly not impractical ability, and then frustration on common purpose of the contract, and then like then you go on to explain like the limits of the doctrine, like and the effects of frustration. And what are the consequences of finding a finding of frustration on the contract? So like if thinking like thinking back to like the first lecture we had on like frustration. One of the examples Nick Longworth said to us was Carrie Fisher in Star Wars. So like knowing that she's like now dead and no one can really take her place as like Princess Leia in Star Wars universe. So yeah, moving on to skipping through Law and Society quickly, as I was just doodling for the entire lecture as I wasn't needed in the workshop and the lecture was on the interview. So like as there's apparently a corridor behind the lecture first at GO1 with like 3 interview rooms, so like still haven't found it. So like if you're a man-met student, then you probably know that everything's online and on Moodle. Or it's online and on Moodle, so it's like you can kind of see what the tutors have said as well. And oops, I think that was like this week's prep. We were going over in false imprisonment. And it's like for claiming false imprisonment, there has to be a total intention, neglect or commission, and which results in total restraint, with no consent being implied, or in an area controlled by the defendant. It's like which takes away the liberty of a person. And it's like you do kind of rely on the defendant for the false imprisonment, as like you can't just rely on the stubbornness of one person. It's a bit like, and then I wrote so little for the lecture as it's literally just that pink bit there. As we're going over the kind of like how we could have done the question we did in mock part 1 better. As with like the cases in psychiatric harm, it's like not too much about the amount of cases, it's just the principles behind the cases, like in Alcock and Chief Constable of South Yorkshire, which is about secondary victims for the Hillsborough disaster, which I'm sure a lot of people still remember. And it's like I finally got around to backing my public law and tort law exercise book, so this doesn't quite look like just a bland old exercise book. And if you can see the yellow bits on it, it's like I've tried writing tort law on it. I can't actually read on it anymore, what's on it anymore very well, as I decided to write in a yellow highlighter, as I think I was doing something else at the time. And in the public law, finally on public law, we decided the lecture was about revision. Like you kind of had to, it's like one of the things that kind of came out of both the lecture and the workshop this week, was you kind of have to do things in like chronological order. So like, if you have to identify one thing before you can move on to the next. As we all just kind of sat there like, and like everything. So yeah, so like I managed to get like 2.5 sheets of notes in the workshop. And we were kind of going over legitimate expectations and substantive rights. And the last thing that they could have taught us. So yeah. And it's really, there's like a right to an unbiased judge, adjudicator, which is kind of like the person deciding. Kind of like a judge adjudicator is the person deciding the case. There's a right to be heard here. There has to be elements of natural justice and fairness, illegality. Wensbury unreasonableness, so like in all those examples I've just given, the decision, like the decision that of the authority in question will be set aside and reheard at another date, depending on the thingy, like what's going on and what the breach was. Just with expectations, is like an explicit promise where a vulnerable person relies on it, and whether it would be unreasonable to go back on that promise. For substantive, there's also interference with human rights. If there is a breach in human rights, there has to be interference must be necessary and proportionate. It's like you kind of have to breach it as little as possible to kind of get where you need to go, kind of thing. On the substantive rights, there has to be like merits of this decision and like with different outcomes. Like how did they get to that decision? And like on the lives, like decisions will be quashed and potential awards for damages. And when I say quash, the decision will be like null and void and will not stand. And in like a problem questions, but like with legitimate expectation, you'd have to say, has a legitimate expectation been created? And that's the issue for the rule. Or the legitimate expectation created promise and could be a promise to an unreasonable person. And like the rule would be like Ex parte Coughlin or Collins. And then apply the law to facts to establish that legitimate expectation was created, and could apply Wensbury unreasonable test from Associated Picture House and Wensbury Corporation in 1948, where the decision of Wensbury Corporation that was so unreasonable that no local authority would actually come up with it. And in conclusion, like decision of a public body could be quashed as something like Wensbury unreasonableness. For an IRAC, for Wensbury unreasonableness, what is the unreasonable issue? And it's like an issue, and the rule would be the public body is not empowered to make unreasonable decision. As it is stated in common law, so I can use the previously cited case of when Picture House Association and Wensbury Corporation, and then you'd apply the law to facts to establish whether the decision was outrageous, and then in conclusion, the decision could be quashed for Wensbury unreasonableness. feels like a breach in human rights or something, the issue would be identify which human rights has been broken. And then like the rule would be like the like Daly's case. So like I don't have the facts on me at the moment. So like from that it's like you'd say that interference must be necessary and proportionate, and then apply to say that there could have, where if there was a breach, say that there was a breach. And then in conclusion, you'd kind of say it would be crushed and kind of come up with far a less intrusive method for the social need. And like the test from Daly's case was first, was there interference with the right? 2, why was there interference? If there was only a pressuring social need, whether there was a pressing social need, and 3, the interference must be proportionate. And it's kind of like a test of proportionality. And what is the minimum necessary to achieve pressing social need without causing too much harm to the individual and their human rights? Individuals and their human rights. And so like whatever you do state must conclude everything in like the conclusion. So I think that's everything, so yeah. So all I really need to do now is revise for this mock next week and like next Friday. And yeah, I'll say bye for this week and I'll miss you all. At least for now. So yeah, till I do like my second year at uni. Provided my first year goes well. Fingers crossed it does. So yeah, I'm gonna say bye for now and I'll see you all next week for my last weekly video for uni. So yeah, I'll say bye to you for now. I'm not really sure what's gonna do next week, so yeah. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week at some point.